Hello, America. It is me, Katie DeFeo, and welcome to one of the most special editions of On the Fly yet. This weekend is the quarterfinals. But first, last week I released my brackets for rounds 1 and 2, and let's be honest, the haters were out in full force. We'll get into it a little bit later, but personally, I think it's good for the sport. I picked a couple upsets and all hell broke loose. I did in fact predict that Denver was going to beat Northwestern. That didn't happen. I did also in fact predict that Jacksonville was going to beat Florida. That did not happen. I also predicted that Maryland was going to lose to High Point in the first round. That did not happen. I am really not that great at picking these games apparently, but some of my picks that I said were locks were in fact locks. My mentality was go with an upset. Everybody loves an underdog, but apparently not everybody actually at all. So that was a little disappointing. I'll get into the Twitter beef a little bit later, but this week we are going to go through the quarterfinal matchups for this upcoming weekend. Set the scene. 4 teams next weekend will get on a bus to Towson, Maryland, the birthplace of Katie DeFeo, and they will battle it out for the 2021 National Championship, which in my eyes might mean more than any before. Which 4 teams will it be? That's a good question, but first we need to go through the matchups to see. So there's 8 teams remaining right now. We have a couple very interesting matchups. Actually, first we're going to really quickly talk about the discrepancies between the broadcasting of the men's and women's game. I'm not sure if you guys are also men's lacrosse fans, or maybe you have dads or brothers, or you enjoy the great game of men's lacrosse. I know that I do. I enjoy watching it a ton. I got to watch a lot of it this last weekend. Not so much on the women's side, which I found very interesting. Time and time again, ESPN and the NCAA let us down. I'll be honest, they do. You saw it with March Madness, with Sedona Prince, how she had to make a TikTok to point out the discrepancies between the men's and women's weight room. Think about if she hadn't made that TikTok. Nothing would have happened. The NCAA and ESPN shamelessly don't care. It's time we've had enough. We've had enough. Women's lacrosse deserves to be on TV just like the men. If you're going to have 8 games on ESPN or ESPNU or ESPN2 national TV broadcasted, it should be 4 and 4. I'm sorry. Here at Unleashed, we are not going to shy away from things like this. We're going to take a stand. The NCAA and ESPN, I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. It's unacceptable to have that many men's games on national television and 0 women's games. Make it make sense. It literally makes no sense to me. What can you do at home? You can tweet about this. You can share the post on Unleashed of Taylor Cummings, the leader of our sport, her great words about this issue. She's been very vocal about this for many years. She's one of my role models and definitely a leader in the women's lacrosse community. We're not going to stop until we get answers. Now, into the matchups. First, we have America's team. People have been, under last week's video, we got a couple comments. Who is America's team? What is America's team? So I think it's time that I clarify. America's team could be any team. America's team to me is picked strictly off of vibes. It's more of a fun thing, because if you just go off of the best teams in America, then you're gonna miss some really fun storylines like Jacksonville season that they had. They're not the best, but they're America's team. The Dallas Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in God knows how many years, but they're America's team. It's the team that people love. In my case, my biases show sometimes it's teams that I have friends on. America's team is strictly picked off of vibes and good energy and good stories and good games. And Jacksonville gave us a lot of that this year. So did North Carolina, which I know I just said it's not always the best teams, but in this case it is. The North Carolina Tar Heels, America's team. They don't lose. They won't lose. They can't lose. But this weekend, they play the Stony Brook Seawolves. Remember what I said, Stony Brook women's lacrosse. They play a couple really good teams at the beginning of the year, and then they're holed away in their conference. And they can't play anybody outside of it because the AE, they've got a very long schedule and they've got a good amount of teams in that conference. So Stony Brook kind of tucks away for a little while. Everybody forgets about them. They always do. Joe Spallina, he's tweeted about this. We all know this. They are the sleeper. People don't give them the respect that they deserve. I am not going to be one of those people. I think that UNC will be hoisting the trophy on Memorial Day weekend, but I truthfully believe if there's one team in this tournament that can give UNC a run for their money, it's the Stony Brook Seawolves. I seriously mean that. The only reason being Joe Spallina is not scared of anyone, and they've only played once this year. North Carolina has a blueprint to beat the teams that they can scout and that they have played a couple times before. Stony Brook is not like that. Stony Brook comes out of nowhere. They come out of left field. They're all hyped up. They get off the bus. So this weekend they play in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. That will be a very good game. Make sure you watch that one. Next, we have number 2 Northwestern versus number 7 Duke. I'm not even going going to elaborate. Northwestern in this one. I am so sorry that I keep picking against them. It's a joke. Northwestern, it was never anything personal. I believe now how good you are. Don't go out and lose this weekend, because then I will look like an idiot, because I could have been right one time and I picked for you. But I'm picking for you Northwestern women's lacrosse, America's team. I mean, I don't know. Next, we have number 3 Cuse versus number 6 Florida. So the beef I was talking about on Twitter was from this past weekend. Allegedly, every time Florida scored, they were chanting, America's team, clearly taunting Jacksonville. Additionally, after the game, there were some Instagram stories and some tweets with the America's team tag from girls on Florida or alumni. Let me just say, although these jokes were at my expense, I personally think it's great for the sport. I love this dialogue. I love this banter. That's one of the things I loved about playing basketball growing up, and I think it's good for the game of women's lacrosse. Yes, we all support each other. Yes, women support women. Yes, of course, all these things. When we're on that field, well, I'm not on that field. If I'm on Florida and some random girl is telling the world that Jacksonville's gonna beat me, and then I beat Jacksonville, of course I'm gonna talk. So as much as I love Jacksonville, America's team, of course, till the day I die, and they've got big things coming next year, believe me. I get the banter from Florida. I was a little upset at first, but then I realized it's not about me. It's about the growth of the game. Isn't that right? Anyway, Syracuse is going to blow the doors off of Florida. Syracuse is going to have absolutely zero issues with Florida. Do not worry about that. The Syracuse Orange this weekend is an absolute lock. The last quarterfinal matchup is BC versus Notre Dame. Two ACC teams that struggled against North Carolina. Two ACC teams that are now putting themselves in a position to battle to see who will potentially play North Carolina for a third time this season. I mean, really, with this, it's a coin flip. I love this matchup, though, because I think BC has a firepower offense, and I love Notre Dame's defense. I think you're going to get a good battle here. BC beat Notre Dame twice in one weekend this season. That was pretty epic a couple weeks back. I know that Notre Dame is not a team that rolls over. I know that Notre Dame is a well-coached team that looks at film and that adjusts on the fly. That's what a season's all about. You got to remember, you can't be playing your best lacrosse in February, March, April. It's all about May. So don't expect Notre Dame to roll over, and don't expect BC to not come in swinging either. This is going to be a great game. This is going to be one of my favorite games to watch this weekend. So, my final 4 picks in Towson, Maryland. The North Carolina Tar Heels will take on the Boston College Eagles. On the other side of the bracket, we will have Cuse playing Northwestern. What do I think will happen then? You'll have to wait till next week to find out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do your part to watch a game this weekend. Even though ESPN makes it extremely difficult to do so, make sure you let us know what you think about this episode on Instagram, down in the comments below, Twitter at UnleashedWLax. Guys, thank you so much. And to the Florida girls who were in my mentions, 1, it's not that deep, but 2, I kind of love this. We can't grow the game if we're scared to fight each other. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Watch these games and let me know what you think about my picks down below. Peace.